Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gebo the Shaman, and today we're talking about the sign of Aquarius in the 8th house. Now what does it mean when we have Aquarius in the 8th house in our birth chart? To better understand this, we need to understand what the 8th house means and what the sign of Aquarius means. So, before we get into that though, I'd just like to let you guys know that I am a Vedic astrologer, and so I do Vedic astrology readings. So there's a bunch of information to be learned from Vedic astrology, and so if you want your own personalized chart reading, you can go to vincent.thunderwizard.com, go to the links down below in the description, or you can go up here to linktree/Gebo the Shaman. Okay? So what is Aquarius in the 8th house? So Aquarius is basically high-end technology, new age technology. It's like futuristic technology. It's like it has to do with like rebelliousness, and Aquarius is all about like having a utopian vision for the world and a utopian future. So so it's all about thinking ahead and planning on and developing new technology and things like that. And it's also about pouring wisdom out to the world, pouring wisdom and goodness and things like that out to the world, to the people. So Aquarius is one of those signs where it's hard to kind of place them. They can be very eccentric, they can be very rebellious, they can be very anti-authoritarian kind of people, and then we have the 8th house, and the 8th house is traditionally ruled by Scorpio, which is, the 8th house is sudden ups and downs, sudden gains and losses, sudden transformation, sudden, accidents, things like that. And it just has to do with like sudden transformation. It has to do with also another thing with the 8th house is this is your psychology, this is your unconscious mind. This is your unconscious mind, this is your psychology. So, it's has to do with all that. The 8th house is also your shared assets. So, the 7th house would be your spouse, and then 8th house would be your shared assets. So, what assets are you and your spouse sharing? And it could be like a investment property, it could be a home, it could be just assets that you share with your spouse. But so those are kind of the things that the 8th house represents. It's sudden transformation, sudden ups and downs, and a lot to do with psychology and your unconscious mind, your as they call it in the new agey circles, the shadow self, the part of us that we don't want to look at, and that's scary to look at and all that stuff. So so it's kind of difficult for me to come up with a sort of analysis of Aquarius in the 8th house. So just because this is such a weird placement, because we have what we have. So if you have this placement, that means that you would be a Cancer ascendant, I believe. Yeah, so your Leo would be in the 2nd house, so you would be a Cancer ascendant. So I would check out my videos on Cancer ascendants to get a better idea of this placement, not this placement, but your entire chart. it's helpful to know about your entire chart. But in this video, we're just talking about this placement. So I guess the thing with Aquarius in the 8th house would be that Aquarius is the sign where you get your gains. This is the sign of gains. So and the 8th house is the house of shared assets. So you might it's a good possibility that you'll get most of your income, most of your earnings or assets or things like that through your shared assets. So through the this means that most of your wealth will probably come after marriage. So yeah, most of your wealth will probably come after marriage, and it just kind of Aquarius is one of those signs that just wants to give, and it wants to help, and it wants to give and all this stuff. So I mean, you could be one of those people who are very who are very giving, and who are you could be, I guess one of those people who could give on an emotional level, because I mean, you're a Cancer ascendant, so that also might be it also might be a indication of how you earn your money, because this is you could be one of those people who start up a business and do a family business with your spouse, and be like a counselor, a psychologist, or something like that. So yeah, this placement is really difficult to kind of put together. But if we take the concepts of the 8th house being the house of transformation, the house of sudden changes, I mean, you could very well have a very positive, the thing is, the 8th house could turn very negative, but with Aquarius here, it doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like any transformation or any changes that you'll have in your life are going to be very positive and very uplifting, for not only for yourself, but for everybody else, for humanity. So it's like one of those things where when you gain, when you benefit from your gains, then everybody else benefits. You could be one of those people who are a philanthropist. You could give, Aquarius is all about humanitarianism, and the 8th house is psychology and shared assets, and it has to do with money and deep psychology and stuff like that too. So you could be a philanthropist. You could be one of those people who sponsors Doctors Without Borders, or does some kind of a philanthropic projects or things with revolving around mental health. You could be one of those people who really cares about people's mental health, and become a philanthropist in that regard. So yeah, it just kind of depends. Some other things that we're going to have to look at are where is Saturn placed. In order to get a better understanding of this placement, we need to understand Saturn's placement. So we're looking at where Saturn is placed, because Saturn rules Aquarius. So looking at that placement will help you determine some more information about the 8th house, your 8th house in Aquarius. So yeah, it just and then the other thing that you're going to have to look at is, are there any planets in your 8th house? Are there any planets in this house? If so, then we can get even more information about the 8th house through those planets, looking at the specific nakshatras that they're in and the specific placements. And then another thing is, if we don't have any planets in the 8th house, if we have what we call an empty house, then we would look at any kind of planetary aspects, and if we have it, if we have anything aspecting it, or anything like that, then we would take that into consideration as more information to get regarding the 8th house. So but yeah, one critical thing that you can do, the most beneficial thing, is looking at Saturn's placement. So if you guys would like an in-depth reading of your birth chart, then you can go to vincent.thunderwizard.com. Okay, and I have all these products and services available here. So you can get astrology readings by going to vincent.thunderwizard.com. You can check out my distance energy healing. All my links, all my products, all my services are going to be available right here at linktree/Gebo the Shaman. So I have distance energy healing available sessions. This is basically where I combine high level advanced qigong forms and combine that with Reiki, and combine that with shamanic practices. So I basically channel the energy through me and send it to you, and it's very powerful. It's very powerful. So then we have support groups. So if you would like to join my support groups, then you can go to linktree/Gebo the Shaman. You can also find them at Patreon. So patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman. All the links are going to be down below. And then I have also my career and life coaching. So if you if you don't know what your path and purpose is in this life, if you're, confused, if you don't know what you want to do with your life, then the career coaching would be a great option for you, as well as the life coaching. The life coaching, basically, I work with clients on an ongoing basis, and I coach them and get them moving towards their goals and their dreams and their desires and things like that. So, yeah. And then we have the Shamanic Ritual Magic course. Right now I have the Fehu Rune Ritual up, which is basically a wealth ritual. So if you're interested in any wealth magic, then you can go to the linktree/Gebo the Shaman. And then we have the Emotional Awareness course. So that course is basically designed to help you to become more aware of your emotions and things like that. So it's great for people who've been, traumatized, and people who avoid their emotions and avoid them, their own self-care and things like that. So it's a great course to tap into to begin your healing journey and all that stuff. And then I also have my Cosmic Qigong course. So this is a very powerful Qigong course. It's a very powerful form of Qigong, and basically it's designed to open up the heart center, the energy within the heart center, and release that, and when we do that, all kinds of emotions come up, and we can begin to psychologically and emotionally heal and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Also, I have my self-transformation challenge right here, which is basically a combination of qigong, yoga, and this new lightning qigong that we have recently discovered. So it's like a new, it's a new form of energy that not many people know about. So anyway, guys, yeah, I guess that does it for me for today. So we'll talk to you later. Peace.